Hello there, it's Tay. I'm making this video at 5:45 a.m. and I have like 15 minutes before I have to go into work. So I wanted to share my story because I kept forgetting to share my story this weekend. So last week on Friday, I got blood work done. And I've been avoiding getting this done for a while, probably a couple years, because I have a huge phobia of like blood and veins. I'm fine with needles, but like tattoos, I've got tattoos. I'm fine with getting shots. I got some shots back in January. I watched them give them to me. That does not bother me whatsoever. Okay? But when they're having to look for a vein and like get a needle in there and that process, that is not for me. Ever since I was little, I've always hated like blood and veins. And like even talking about it, when other people are talking about it, I squirm and I do not like it. And then they just keep talking about it for some reason, so that's cool. Drop a comment down below if you feel the same way. So I had this scheduled for a couple weeks, prepare a little bit, and my doctor gave me like anxiety medication that I can take before so that I don't freak out, right? So my appointment was at 9:10 and I took the pill like an hour before my appointment. So I'm like, okay, hopefully this works. I don't know. I've tried the anxiety medication before. It's called lorazepam, but I don't know. I can't really feel that much of a difference, to be honest, but whatever. So I had my fiance come with me because I didn't want to drive just in case these pills made me really tired or something. And so I felt pretty calm going in. I was fine. I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask for a smaller needle. I'm going to ask him to do, a certain arm. And hopefully it is quick. And it was anything but that. So we're going to get into the nitty-gritty part. And I'm just going to share like how I was feeling during these times too, because it felt like it took a really long time, but by the time that we left, we were there for half an hour. So they call me back, and it's this short dude named Oscar. And I'm like, okay, like he looked like he was older than me, so I thought maybe he's had like, experience or something. But I didn't want to be annoying and be like, I want the best person you have, because I feel like every time I try to like request anything, they like look at me like I'm stupid. So I'm just like, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut and hopefully they hurry up and whatever. So I sit down in this chair, and it's like, it had like a little table that like flipped down. So I sit down at this table, I put my arm out, and he's like, squeeze your fist so I can find a vein. And then they put like a rubber strip that they like put around your arm so they can try to find a vein easier. And I don't know why, but like when they ask me to squeeze something, I don't like doing that part. So I think that's maybe when my mind was like starting to kind of freak out. So he does that. He pokes me, and I'm like, oh my god. Okay. So I'm staring at my fiance. Sorry if I'm not holding this straight. I don't really have a good place in my car to set my phone. Unless it's like at a weird angle like this. Let me know if this is okay. So my fiance was standing to the right of me, and I'm like holding his hand. I'm squeezing as hard as I can. He's like, oh wow, you don't have to squeeze so hard. But I couldn't help it. And I started like taking his hand, and I was trying to like bite his fingers, and I was just trying to like not think about it. And I feel like when you do that, your subconscious is still thinking about it. So after like a minute, he like takes it off, like the rubber strip off, and I'm like, oh, are we done? Sweet. No, I didn't get any. Excuse me? So I'm like, okay. And mind you, this man was shaking, and I was like, I'm not going to internalize thinking about that, because that would probably make me more nervous. But so he's like, I can do a finger prick, and I can scoop it in, and hopefully I can get enough from just your finger. So he pricks my finger. I don't know if there's like a little dot there. You can't see it. But like when they take your blood for like diabetes or whatever, when they do the finger prick, it was like that. So like you feel the finger prick, and then he's just squeezing. And he's squeezing for like 10 minutes. And he made it sound like he didn't need to do it a whole lot, but it was like, it felt like a lot. Well, all of a sudden, I start to get super lightheaded, and I'm like, whoa, I'm gonna pass out. So I'm sitting there, and I'm drenched in sweat. I'm sweating. My fiance has his hat, and he's like fanning it at me, and it felt nice, but I was still so hot. So I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? So all of a sudden, I look up, and there's like 3 women at the front of the room, like with bags, like 2 big bags of like, one of them said first aid on it. And I was like, whoa, what is happening? Am I going to pass out? So the guy that was taking my blood, he steps aside, and like he was taking forever. Like my world was closing in. Oh, car's not parked. My world was closing in. I felt like it was all coming like shoo, and I was like really trying to not freak out or be like, please, like I'm going to pass out, because I was like, if I freak out, then that's probably not good. So these ladies come in, take over. One of the ladies was an angel sent from heaven, I'm convinced of it. And she's like doing my blood pressure. She gave me a juice. She's like, ooh, you want an ice pack? Here you go. Like, she had it right there in the drawer. And it's like, okay, why didn't you give me that sooner? I'm sweating. And she's like taking care of me. I'm like crying. I can't even control my tears. They're just coming out of my eyeballs. And she's like grabbing a handful of Kleenexes and like dabbing my face. She's like, oh, it's okay, sweetheart. And inside I'm just like, oh my God, thank you so much. This lady is heaven sent. So I'm finally starting to calm down. And like, while this was happening, I wasn't looking at the guy who first took my appointment, but I could see him in the corner of my eye, and I could just feel this like scared energy, and I could feel him like kind of freaking out, like, what is going on? And this other girl was like, this happens all the time, which I know it does. I know it happens every day. And then what happened? The one lady from the angel from heaven, she said she had to go back to where she is from, like where she's working at in the hospital. I don't know. And this other lady takes over, and she's like laying me down. She's like, we can either reschedule today or a different day because we didn't get enough. And I'm like, are you kidding? So I'm like, there's no way I'm coming back today. I'm traumatized. So I made an appointment for a couple days later, like Monday after work. They told me I didn't need to fast, and I thought I had to, so I think that's why I got so lightheaded. And so yeah, they were like, are you okay to walk? I'm gonna take your blood pressure again, make sure you're okay. I'm like, I'm fine, I just wanted to leave. And then later on that day, it was like 4:30 p.m., I get a call from Mayo Clinic. And I'm like, ugh, like I hate getting calls from Mayo Clinic. So my fiance's like, well, answer it. So I answered it, and it was the guy who took my blood, Oscar. And he's like, hey, so we were actually able to get all your labs done, so you don't need to come back. And I was so ecstatic. So I think he felt pretty good about that, but I think he was like freaking out. But that is my story I wanted to share. I really struggle with getting my blood drawn, and maybe my story will help somebody else who struggles with this, because I just want to share my stories too, to maybe look back on and, you know, learn some things for myself as well. So I'm gonna leave it at that, and subscribe, comment, like. I read all of the comments, been getting quite a few lately. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye.